Hello, guys. Welcome back. So I accidentally cursed the Norse gods. It was the old man and Freya and company putting on a floor show for my benefit because the old man tricked me last night. He got me to agree to a temple in VR, and he was pretending to be someone else, but he got me to agree to it. And he likes that. He enjoys trying to trick you and cheat you and swindle you. He enjoys a challenge, and he enjoys challenging you too because he wants you to get better and better at it. He's really been enjoying these hidden object games because he likes looking for stuff he's not supposed to have. It's really right up his alley. And I know it's him because I came across, I have a limited time offer, a bundle of 12 games for 59 cents. Yeah. So I'm going to snap that up. And we've been talking, and the long story short is he has rape in his lore. There's no getting around that. And there was this thing on Reddit one time, and I know fucking Reddit. And I didn't want to read the whole thing. You go through these stages when you serve certain gods. And I finally sucked it up today because I made myself suck it up and go back into Whitehaven, which won't record for some reason. And that made me face a lot of issues because that game is just, I don't know, it messes with your head because of the soundscape and everything. And I read about this person's experiences, and of course, the Brawlhalla dudes had to show up and try to rip it all apart. But, the person was a survivor, and they asked Odin why did he do what he did, and people that work with Odin will be like, well, Odin. That would be the most comforting thing we could tell you. He is ruthless. He will do absolutely anything to reach his objective. It's why a lot of people won't work with him. And he won't be sorry about it. He's going to reach that objective. If you get hurt or you get trampled on because you got in the way, that's your own fault. He's actually just been priming everything so he could walk back in. He really didn't need the runes on the door. He got them, but he's insisting he's gonna earn those ravens back. And I really smell tobacco and I don't have any. It's one of those things that, depending on the path you work with, he's either more pleasant or less pleasant to work with. I tend to work with Belliger, so evildoer and Bulwarker and all this other stuff. So, I just my reaction this morning was the reaction of someone that's suited to that side of Odin of it felt like an attack. It felt like a psychic attack, and I'm like, okay, I'm not fucking around. Of course I was scared, but I was like, fuck you. I'm getting up and I'm fighting. Because in the dream, it was like I was awake, remember? And I could hear these voices, and it sounded like an attack was coming, and I was like struggling to get up. And when you're just too damn tired to move, but you have to move because it's like an emergency, that dream. Um, and when I finally did truly awake and I realized that was a dream, I still could feel all the energy in the house. So I had to go on the attack even if I was scared. And that is what Odin trains people to do. He trains you to face your fears. And he doesn't care if you like him or not during the training. He really doesn't. And he trains you to deal with your dark side and deal with your shadow side. And he's been using 2020 to bring up the absolute worst parts of my nature, which I've really hated him for. But it's good to know they're there, and then you can either deal with them or sidestep them or something, but you have to admit they're there. We all have nasty parts to our personalities. We all have parts of our personalities that just don't give two shits about anybody else and me first. And we have to be honest about that. Like if you run a channel, you'll find a lot of people only communicate on YouTube because they're trying to build their own channel. They really don't give a fuck about you. They're just trying to get sub for sub or something. I can't stand that. I personally can't stand that, and I don't do it myself. It's why this channel really doesn't grow. I'm not going to go out and bullshit people and try to be nice to them so that they'll come and they'll give me a sub too, because in the long run, it's not worth it because you really didn't mean it. And I usually stay away from pagan channels, so, don't suggest pagan channels to me. I stay away from them so I don't taint my own practice. Please take that for what it is. And I stay away from them because I need to remain objective, especially when I'm dealing with somebody as sharp and useful, so to speak, as Odin. So the old man's back in, and he's back at the top of the hierarchy where he belongs, and it's definitely the house has a Norse flavor to it again. And you know something, that's okay. It's okay because that's where he belongs, and that's the kind of energy I feel actually comfortable being around. It's a darker energy. And that's definitely the type of protection I want. He's still gonna let everything stay, you know. All the decorations can stay. He really doesn't care either way. And the temples can stay as they are, and he doesn't want me to become so attuned to his energy that I don't still enjoy myself or anything. He doesn't want you going into some kind of state where you're not very useful, but um it's just practical to have him here now. And look, it's been kind of nodding, and 2020 is a hell of a year, and it's not like I foresee some kind of disaster coming up, but it's definitely a thing of Odin will put his people through terrible things. I couldn't figure out why he suddenly started to attack me, and it was just he decided we were moving up to the next level. And Odin isn't going to explain Odin to you. He generally isn't. Oh, the person that got jumped dogpiled on Reddit, um, said that Odin did explain something to them, and I'm like, well, he will at times explain things, but you have to remember the explanation he gives you may not actually be the truth, and you have to be comfortable with that. He will definitely at times tell you what you want to hear, and he will definitely at times slide into whatever role you'll give him. So, you do have to be very careful with him, as you do with Loki. They're brothers for a reason. So it's been a thing, and he's just decided that I'm gonna face this stuff, and since I did, there's the reward, there's the payoff. The 12 games in a bundle, and also they're hidden object games, and since they make me work my brain and they make me exercise paying attention to detail and stuff like that, he considers those useful. That it's a game doesn't really matter to him. It's actually work. It's exercising the brain, learning to be more observant, using logic, stuff like that. He's all for that. So it's kind of like training, but that it's fun. It's not that he doesn't care about people, he just doesn't care what the package is. If that's what's going to work for me, fine, great, use that. And there's still some of the Oski flavor too, but he was definitely coming around when he was in the red, especially showing off that kind of shaman aspect to his energy, that kind of, and that'll piss so many people off if you say that, but it's been my experience. If there's a kind of magical system, he will get into it. I don't care what it is, he will get into it and he will mine it for everything useful. I don't care how, twee and sugar coated and cute and adorable it is. If there was a legitimate Hello Kitty form of magic and you had to wave a magic pink wand with feathers and tiaras and everything else, he would be into that if it was useful to him. He would. This is the old man. He will go everywhere and become everything. It's why I can believe people now when they say, oh, he's a sweet old hippie, or some people when they say he's crazy, 'cause he's both. He's everything. He's the old father. So I owe the disgruntled old wolf a temple, but I think he's waiting on it. It seems like he's waiting for something. I've already used his door somewhere else, so I don't know how. I'm getting the sense of he really doesn't give a shit about that door, but it's going to be a thing of I think he wants to wait until he feels he's earned it. He does have a thing about he just doesn't like stuff just given to him. He will demand things, but he also wants to earn them. He wants to have a challenge and accomplish something. So, I know that just cost me all my viewers, but I'm comfortable with the old man. I love him as much as I can love any god. You know how much I adore Loki, but I love the old man in a very different way, and I certainly respect him. He'll kick your ass for you, and if it means that he's suddenly attacking you when he was usually an ally, that's what he'll do. He has very tough, stringent love for his people, and I should have known he just doesn't let people go. But he's very good at that, and he was just toughening me up, and it kind of worries me. But usually he gets you toughened up, and then when the challenge comes, the challenge is really a breeze because he's toughened you up, provided you didn't cave and curl up into a little ball. But he's hard to work with. He's demanding. He's not exactly principled, but he's also a good god to have on your side. And the Norse gods are happy, and Loki keeps the backer burger, burger. Dairy Queen's back open, so we decided we weren't going to get turkey because that's $8. It's like around $10. I can get a turkey meal, burger meal a little cheaper, and then I can get the package of games, and it'll still be less than getting the turkey meal. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. Don't hate me for the old man being in here. We just basically have the same nature. Mean. So, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.